Welcome back to the Nightlife Podcast, Season 3. I'm not going to say what episode because I'll probably get it wrong, but I will put it down here so you guys can see what episode it is. And today we continue what we said we were going to be doing during this third season, and that is talking about technology and the different ways to approach your clientele and get your clientele to come to your venues if you are struggling with that in this, just new world that we live in. So for that, I welcome my friend Nathan.
Thank you very much,
How are
Julio.
you, my friend?
Thank you for having me.
Nathan,
Thank
your
you.
last name?
Hirschbein.
Yeah,
Hirschbein.
man, I hate trying to spell those last names.
Polish. Yeah.
How do you spell that?
It's Hirshbein. So Hirschbein.
Yeah. Where do you say from? Polish?
It's Polish, yes.
And
Polish
you are from?
I'm originally from Venezuela, but my grandparents are European, yes.
Gotcha. And you've been here your whole life, pretty much, huh?
Yes, I moved to the United States in 2002 from Venezuela, and then now I'm a U.S. citizen. I've been living in Miami ever since, since 2008. So.
All right. Cool,
yep.
cool. All right, Nathan. So basically what I want to talk to you about is about AI SMS.
Yes.
Okay, so the past few episodes I've been talking, I spoke to somebody who built an amazing app
Yes.
for the nightlife industry. I spoke to somebody who does artificial intelligence, I guess, the chatbots
Yes.
for the nightlife industry, which is something I love also, how both of those, have been working. And I spoke to somebody about social media and how to use those things and integrate it with the social media and those kinds of things and ads and what works and what doesn't work. And in today's world that's evolving so much with all these new things, it's crazy because we old school promoters, I've been doing this for so long. It's been 25 plus years that I've been doing this.
Yes.
For us, it's weird because we are used to, touching somebody on the shoulder and being able to do that kind of connection to bring somebody to a venue and now we gotta I guess figure out a way to be on top of all these new things.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what it is that you guys do.
Sure, of course. Well, I partner up with a person from California, and we started a company called Aisms. We first started using an assistant database and driving customers.
By the way, AI SMS as in artificial intelligence and
Yes, SMS.
SMS, which is text. Right.
Exactly, text messaging. It's right now we're trying to get away from the term of text messaging as mass text messaging because there's a really big trend, especially with Uber and Uber Eats, that everything in technology is going to be mobile soon, and it's going to be a very efficient way to streamline a lot of operations. So I said, I want to be involved in technology, and I want to have a partner to have experience in technology. So we started pretty much using existing databases from T-Mobile and AT&T and Verizon to drive specific customers for specific outcomes. Let's say for a plan upgrade to buy us a new phone, a specific location. So we would actually read a database that actually, let's say T-Mobile would have, let's say they have 800 customers, whether it's a little franchise I used to work with, and they say, look, we want to push a different plan, and then we want these customers to go to this store because it's our franchise. So we would read the customers, which customers eligible for which offers, whether it's like subprime retention, refer a friend, and then we would send them a text message because it's actually allowed in the terms of service, and then that customer would go redeem that specific offer in that specific store. So we can build all kinds of campaigns to drive in specific revenue for first T-Mobile franchises, which was our first customer.
I see.
So, it's a very interesting way of driving additional revenue, by the franchise, because when you have a franchise for T-Mobile, like they have a lot of restrictions, so sometimes you have to abide a lot by the marketing that T-Mobile does corporate.
Right.
But we brought something different because we could actually upsell the customers that they already have. So that was something great.
So when do you open up and say, you know what, let's get into the nightlife industry. Let's try to get those guys to become our customers, I guess, and and help them drive the clientele. When does that happen?
Sure.
Or why?
Sure. I started noticing that, especially with so many new venues, you got to grab people's attention, right? You got to be able to bring them to your event.
I've been waiting for this coladita.
Nice. Thank you. So obviously, the whole point of the nightlife industry, and you want to build up your events if you want more people to come, right? So you want to have a voice. And right now, the market is so saturated with so many new venues left and right. Everybody's trying to compete for people's attention.
Correct.
You have to find some sort of way using technology, especially with the right amount of word choice and the right amount of campaigns, to build traffic to people to come to our venues organically. Because right now, it's also becoming more, people are just used to, in terms of, AI, people are used to more text messaging, they're more used to AI, so the market is getting to know this system a little bit better, but you have to use it more efficiently. So I said, you know what? Why don't we open up this market, which is using our system for events and promotional companies to drive people to the events and drive people to different, venues. So we started working with a really big promotional company, and we're doing really well. We got them, using different campaigns. We got them about 20,000 new subscribers.
You can mention them, by the way, if you want to. They're good friends of the house. All right. So then tell us a little bit about how it works with the nightlife industry. What's an example of one of the things that you guys can do to help drive?
Sure. So it's actually a multiplier effect. So you have to give people incentives. A lot of kids nowadays, they want to be able to have a free bar tab. They want to be able to drink for free. It's a choice between going to this venue and this venue. Sometimes whether I get a free drink. So what we do is, let's say we
which, by the way, it's something that all promoters use and we have been using for a long time, but in a personal level, right? You can say my name at the door, you get in free. I come in with a group of friends and I get you a bottle of champagne, a group of girls, it's your birthday, I get you a bottle. Those kinds of things have been around for a while. Nowadays, what I see is that with the social media era, it's now called a giveaway, and people are using it a little differently, but in your case, it's kind of a mix of that giveaway, kind of like a prize, or you're giving everybody something.
Well, we have to build it the right way, because what we want is that we want to build up and we want to multiply the word of mouth. So what we do is what we've done in the past. And by the way, cheers! Thank you for having me. By the way, great setup. Cheers.
By the way, in Miami, you must have el café cubano. It's a must.
It's phenomenal. Really great stuff. Ooh, it's awesome. So what we do is a campaign example. It's like, look, we send a text message to people, said, look, if you share it with about 3 of your friends, then you're in line to get a free drink ticket, right? And we can actually track that through different links and different codes that people actually share, whether they're actually at the physical event, right? And what happens is once people start sharing it with that SMS, not only is that quickly easier to share, we can actually track the phone number, but it actually multiplies your database. So not only are you promoting your event, but you're multiplying your database.
Okay, wait. How do you multiply in that sense?
Okay, so let's say I get a text message and I send that specific text message, that code to somebody else, and somebody else redeems it with that original. Our system can track that. So that means that person just multiplied. It's like a cell. So I send it, let's say, to 500 people. We can track in our system, like let's say it expanded to 600. So with that specific code, so that's the multiplier effect. So if we only send it to 500 people and then 600 people show up, then that code was shared 100 times, right? So that's how the math adds up.
So the multiplication is from people sharing the code.
Exactly. So that's one example how we're driving, more people to more events through that. Also,
so you can also send them an incentive to share.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's say I send out to I blast out 10,000 numbers and I tell 10,000 numbers, you get a free drink. If you show up, hopefully they won't all show up at the same time. But let's say you send it out to 10,000 people and you say, if you want to share this, share this with 5 people and earn the possibility of winning a full service bottle, whatever, I don't know.
Exactly.
XYZ.
Exactly. And people are going to do it because people want to feel cool. When they go to an event, they want to feel like they're getting something for free, or they're getting an incentive, or they're getting in. It depends how you want to build it in the nightlife. Also, a really great example of how we want to change the nightlife industry also as well is that before, there's a lot of programs that are pre-programmed. When you first send let's say a text blast or something that we're trying to get, is that it looks very fake, it looks very robotic. And when you get it from an AT&T or T-Mobile, it looks like there's lines, and it looks not real, it looks like a robot. So our system is the only one that you can build a custom message, like a paragraph. So it literally looks like a promoter saying it.
Somebody was sexting.
Exactly. Thank you. So it looks like a promoter is sending it. And then it literally looks, and the chances of probability that somebody will reply to a text message that literally looks like a paragraph that you just sent me is a lot higher, probably about 20% than one of the pre-programmed text message.
So it looks more like a text. What number does it come from?
Okay, there's different kinds of numbers. There's something called a short code or something called a long code.
Okay.
Okay, so in different things that kind of marketing specifically for the nightlife industry, sometimes a long code is a dedicated code that only you have, that you have to pay for, which is a certain price. It's LMG.
Got it.
So 599 is the only number that you have in the United States. So nobody else coming in from 599, it's your number. There's something called a short code that it's shared among people. So you have to go online and let's say it comes from different people. But for your specific industry is, we're giving you a code that's only for yours. So because it's our proprietary system, you're going to have a long code.
So when somebody receives the text, it looks like a text, but it doesn't come from a phone number.
Exactly.
So now, what if they want to reply? Do they reply to the code?
They reply to the text. They're literally, so we pre-program like about, 20 to 30 to 40, depends on different conversations that you can have with the
so
chat
in
box.
that way, it becomes like a chatbot.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's a pre-programmed chat box.
Got it.
So it's an algorithm that people say, and let's say, hey, do you want to show up to come to Latin Cafe at for that party on a Saturday night?
Right.
And then you ask usually an open-ended question, and I'll tell you why. Because when you ask a question, and we're become experts in this, right? Because we started working with big promotional companies. When you don't make a statement, but you ask a question, the probability that people are going to reply and the probability that people are going to keep it and not opt out, probably about 20-30% higher.
Gotcha.
So that's something that we've done through our experience that we've learned is how to approach and how to promote your parties the right way.
Right.
How not to make a statement. Say, hey, show up for a party Saturday night 3 p.m. Opt out. Say, hey,
Saturday night at 3 p.m.
3 a.m. Sorry.
There you go.
And say, hey, how would you like to show up at a Barseco on a Saturday night at 3 p.m.? How would you like to have a free bottle? How would you like to have a free drink? Question mark. If you ask the right question the right way, and you have a big database, you're gonna get a huge amount of people to show up.
Right.
So that's something that we've learned through our experience of how we get the largest amount of conversions, to people to actually not opt out, and people to actually show up to the events with the right amount of questions. So that's something that we have experience with.
Yeah. So one of the things we've been talking about is how the open rate for email has dropped down so much.
Yes.
I mean, and we've been building our database, our email database, for the past 20 plus years, and it's crazy. We have over 250,000 emails, but in reality, a lot of those people don't open them. We get like a 6% open rate on emails nowadays.
Not even worth it. I get 200 a day. You must get right. 200
a day.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I'm like sick with email. Like I'm a robot with the email, so I keep my inbox at zero at all times. I make sure it's the first thing I do when I wake up, before not going to the gym, and it's pretty much like I'm ruled by my email controls me, but I'm not the usual. Most people actually don't give a shit. They just,
delete everything.
Right. Now, open rate for chatbot, I know that it's in the 80 to 90 percentile.
Yep.
What about text?
Okay. Text messaging is about 90% open rate. Everybody's going to read a text message.
Right.
And I think it's even more powerful. And let me tell you why. Because text messaging is not going to go away ever. Right?
Yeah,
Different
totally.
apps is going to, and I'm going to tell you why. Because apps are going to change over time. Because maybe you don't have enough memory now. I have to delete the app. I have this. I've deleted WhatsApp so many times and reopen it and reopen and delete it. Text messaging is never ever going to go away. You're always going to have text messaging, right? Even look, the new way. Let's put the example of lending money, right? Before it used to be Cash App or Venmo, but now Bank of America started creating a way. Chase started creating a way that you can send money.
Right.
So you have to think ahead about what's actually going to be in the future. WhatsApp is always going to be strong because it's internationally. But in terms of text messaging, it's the most powerful because it's not an app. It's something that everybody has. Everybody has text messaging.
Yeah, WhatsApp falls for a day, as Instagram and Facebook did. With the text, it won't happen.
Exactly, that's my point. Exactly.
All right, so
exactly.
That's very interesting. Okay, let me ask you, what if somebody decides, somebody has created their own chatbot and they already have their chatbot pre-designed for all their answers, all those things. Can you guys integrate their chatbot to your system?
It would be through the communication, but it wouldn't be through in terms of this. It would be almost the same system, but with the SMS. So the questions and the campaigns could be the same way, but it will be through this SMS.
Meaning if people reply,
yes.
Because you still do everything,
exactly.
You attack with the SMS.
Yeah.
But then if people reply, they can be sent to a different chatbot that's already pre-made. Is that's yes. Something like
when it would be through a text message. So I'll give you as clear as possible. So visualize it, instead of being a chat box, it's going to be an SMS answer. So it's going to be even better because it's communication, right? So think about it as an SMS as the same way as a chat box, but even better because it's like you're even texting somebody.
So when you talk to me about having about 40 different answers already pre-prepped,
yes,
pre-programmed,
yes,
they are gonna reply SMS.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's an
even
SMS chatbot, pretty much.
It's even more powerful.
Got it. Yeah,
so there's three different things that what makes our technology successful is because first, it looks like a person. It looks like somebody saying it. It's not robotic. It's not with lines, the same way that you get it with yours. Okay, so that's a plus. Our open rate is a lot higher, and our opt-out rate is a lot lower, right? Because of that specific instance. We have pre-conditioned.
Do you always have to say opt-out?
You have to.
Right.
It's part of
the law, I guess.
But we've experienced that also putting in questions is way more effective because it's when you don't put an open-ended question, people get very receptive, right?
So when you have a chatbot, you can answer the questions. By the way, production didn't want their coffee. I'm on my third, but I'm gonna take it. So the chatbot, when you get whatever message,
yes.
You answer to it. You say, okay, you want to come on Saturday at 3 p.m. as you insist to do. So you put there, I have a group of people. But when you answer to the chatbot, whatever question you answer, you have options to press a button. With this, is it open-ended questions? So you can say whatever.
It's open-ended, and our system is going to read about which is the best answer to the question they answered. Yeah. That's the best question. We try to make it as simple as possible because if you start adding let's say buttons and pictures and all that, it actually starts to hurt your brand and your product because you want to make it as simple as possible. You just want people to show up as quickly as possible.
Correct.
Right? So what we try to do is using our experience and the one of the biggest promotion agencies in South Florida, we're working with right now, we developed a specific campaign. We got them 20,000 new subscribers. Now we're going to build a campaign for one of the biggest events they got going on this weekend, right?
Right.
So the way that I suggest is through what we've done with T-Mobile and all these different companies is make it as simple as possible, make it effective, a low opt-out rate, and make sure people show up. And they have some sort of code or something that's simple or something like that. And even if more people show up than less and they don't redeem any sort of code, it's also because of you because you build a campaign for that specific event, right?
Right.
So there's different ways to measure the amount of success, and we're doing it, which is great.
Are you guys doing this only in Miami, or are you starting to do this somewhere else? What's the plan when it comes to the entertainment industry?
We're starting from the ground up. We just started in Miami.
Because you mentioned the clients you had before.
Yes.
We're talking about T-Mobile, all those guys.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yes. We work with one of the biggest franchises that are in New York City. They're in New York, but they have stores all over the United States.
Right.
But I want to build this business to be a multi-million-dollar business. Everything's going to be mobile soon. It's just you have to do it the right way. And people don't know how to do it the right way. But I have big plans. Obviously, I see you guys. I see you as a big powerhouse. I know you guys from a while, and you guys throw great parties. So I'm like, look,
thank you.
There's a great need because the market's getting very saturated. Specifically with Wynwood, Delray, Boca, everybody's trying to fight for attention from people, and you need an edge. You need an edge because word of mouth is not enough anymore. Word of mouth is not enough. So if you have the database, which you guys have the numbers which you guys have, we can convert some of your emails to the phone numbers to build a campaign to drive traffic. Right. It's called just the law of averages, which means that you have enough ammo in the tank to take down the castle. Correct. Right? So, or the castle's medieval, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
But it's using ways to drive technology, and I think it's really awesome. That people are that you're finding ways to drive using technology the right way with people that know how to use it to get more people to the door, and that's how we're going to do it.
Got it. How fast does somebody get an answer? Is it as quick as a chatbot, or?
It's pretty quick. It's usually about, I would say about 20, 30 seconds.
Got it. Yeah, because sometimes that's one of the things that sometimes with the chatbots I'm a little like I don't like sometimes is that before I'm pressing the button I'm already getting an answer.
Yes.
So that seems very robotic.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I you know, sometimes you want to make. They just made it a little romantic in here.
I know. I was just noticing that.
So the thing is that like I don't like tricking people into think that this is a person. When it comes to the chatbots, I'd rather let people know this is a chatbot. You know what I mean? Because it is obvious that it is.
Yeah.
When it comes to this, it just feels like it's something that you can use, and it will feel so real and so much like a person that you can make it, be that way. Where it's, you give it even a name and say it's Janice, their personal assistant, whatnot, and whatever else we can help you with. Yes, if you would like a reservation or how many people or what day, those different, like you say, 40 different options or whatnot.
Exactly.
So I think it's interesting. The question is, so do you see this as something more for the club owners or for the promoting companies?
It really depends. It can be for both. If the owner wants to do their own, if the promoter wants to promote different kinds of campaigns, right now is we're paying the cost of it, of the messaging. So we're not passing it to you. We're just paying it for our time and for the system. But it really depends. If you have a big database and if you have numbers, you're gonna win because it's something called the law of averages. So the law of averages is if you have a certain amount of numbers. For a certain amount of deals, you're going to expect to close a certain amount. It trickles down, right? So it's exactly. So based on the law of averages, if you have a big enough database and you build a campaign the right way, you're going to get the best. You're going to get the outcome you want because it's just called the law of averages. Right. So it's really interesting, but it's something that it's cool because people you need to tell people what you're doing. You need to find an alternative way to drive traffic, because what I feel now is that with every new venue is the people that utilize technology the right way are the ones that are going to win, and the people that don't are just going to be left behind.
Awesome. Do you see, because I see sometimes a little conflict of interest when it happens with the apps, it happens with the chatbots, it happens when a promoter is used to being the one that handles all the clientele and has that leverage when it comes to negotiating with the venues. If this becomes available to the clubs are going to feel like, okay, now I can do this on my own. And a lot of times promoters will be like, I'm not going to push for that because I don't want this to be the issue. So just throwing that out there. But
that's a good point.
But it is something to think about.
Yeah.
In the end, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about it. I love when everybody tries anything because they realize even more that they're not the ones that know how to do this part of the job. That's why there's an expert to each, to every different thing, and it's like as a promoter, I don't go into a venue and try to get into, their kitchen or their bar try to fix however they do stuff in the back. When I'm an owner, it's the complete opposite. I'm fixing those issues. As an owner, I look at that side, and I try to stay away from the promotion when I'm an owner and hire promoters that can do that job. I will help push, but I'm not going to be trying to take away from their deal because, I brought some of the people, so I'm not going to pay you full. You know what I mean? It's in that sense.
And I know how to answer that is because, look, we also, and we're never going to confident this because we don't have enough bandwidth. So in terms of the bandwidth, we're only going to bring in a certain amount of clients and clients that do a lot of different events because that's how we can bring in the most money, right?
Correct.
Because we could sign up every club if we want, but we don't have enough bandwidth. We really don't. So, and our model fits in better with people that do more events all the time because there's different ways to drive in revenue, different campaigns, different giveaways. So, it's utilizing technology. You have to find a different way to drive in people to your event, right? And that way is through a specific communication method to do it the right way. And I gave you some different specific examples of how we're doing it. And the promoters that are using technology the right way, and the promotional companies are going to be able to get the market share because they're the ones that are utilizing technology.
So 2 last questions, Nathan, before we go, because our time is running out.
Yes.
Got a line of people waiting to be interviewed. Just kidding. So 2 last questions are: is this cost effective? It's not about you saying how much it costs or how it works, whatever it is. It might be different or catered to each person differently. And second of all, where can people find you, and if they want to, get this service from you guys?
Yeah. So, of course, we have a website as well, aisms.io, and there's a phone number there and an email, of course. And it is cost effective because not only we're not passing along the cost of the text messaging to a lot of people, which is great. We're eating it, so it is effective. And it is cost effective for different people that we know based on the size of the database, right? Because if the database is a certain amount and the phone numbers are a certain amount, we can drive the outcomes that you want. So let's say if you need to make a certain amount of money, based on what you have and our experience, we're able to drive enough money for to justify the profit.
Right.
Also, we can also convert emails into numbers and then build a campaign.
Right.
So it is.
And I'm gonna give you guys a little idea. We met last week about using the services.
Yes.
We actually just had a prior meeting right before this, and we're gonna definitely be talking about using their services for LMG. We like to try everything out for sure. And one of the things we discussed is we measure usually the way we measure promoters. So we measure stuff by, so how many people did I bring? How many customers? Or did the sales go up this much or whatever? Those are our measurements in the end. So, and they were willing to pretty much,
we can do it.
Kind of say guaranteed, this is what I'm going to bring you, and this is how much I'm going to charge you to bring you that. So we have kind of a measurement, as you would if you were paying for ads on Facebook or Instagram, whatever.
It's just about coming in creative as well. Like how creative you want to be. And that's the part that's fun because as a promoters, as a promotional company, you also got to get very creative. It's not about just show up. It's about how you can build an experience and give the customer a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Nathan, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me
today. No,
it's
man,
been
it
fun.
was a pleasure, and I hope it works. We're gonna test it out, and we are gonna let you know how it goes for LMG for sure.
Yes.
Again, you can find me at the Nightlife Entrepreneur on Instagram. You find the book on Amazon. The Nightlife Podcast, nightlifepodcast.com. You find all the prior episodes.
Yes.
And remember to follow LMG Miami and go to all our freaking parties. See you guys next week.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
boss.
you.